what's up? My name's Samuel Leeds.
I'm Russell Leeds.
And today we're going to talk about the lockdown. We're in a national lockdown and the implications, how that might affect you as a property investor. So a little bit of backstory about the lockdown. Like it happened, when did we first go into it? It was around about March time.
Yes, 20th of March.
Yeah, in 2020, and they told us it would be 3 weeks. Honestly, they said it's going to be 3 weeks. And I remember thinking, I think it was the 2nd of April, I had houses going on auction, 7 houses, or selling 7 houses, and I'm thinking of all the time in the world, it falls on the 2nd of April during this little 3-week lockdown. No. The lockdown was extended, and it was extended again.
Well, we've kind of been going in and out of it.
They did the help out I remember at one point, was it like July time where they were saying, encouraging people to go out.
To help the economy get moving again, eat out to help out, free food or half
And then they said,
food.
and then they stopped us. They were always telling us though, I remember them saying, in October, we're going to be totally back to normal. October's when the stadiums are going to open. And we were thinking, oh great, we'll be able to run our crash courses again. But that didn't happen.
That got delayed, replaced by lockdown 2.0. Then miraculously everything came back in December for about 2 weeks.
And in that 2 weeks, we had a 2-week window, and in that 2 weeks we put 2 crash courses on. Hundreds of people at the first one, amazing. Second one, the area went into tier 3.
Yeah.
Then we moved it, that went into tier 3. We moved it again, and in the end we had to do it virtually, and then everything went into tier 4, 5, and then now we're in a lockdown, and that's that. So,
how long now? I mean, I remember when we were talking about it, because obviously we had all our venues booked till the end of the year. We had stuff booked in December, and we were saying, well, everyone was saying it will definitely be out by December. You know, the ones we've got in December will definitely happen. And in a way, I suppose one of them kind of did. But if you were to guess, when would you say we'll be back to normal? You know, not having to
I honestly think, I know I've predicted a lot of things. Like last year, remember when I predicted house prices by January, and it's
pretty much
spot on.
I mean, this is quite...
It's a really tough one to predict. I don't even think Boris Johnson has any idea.
Of course not. Boris Johnson doesn't have any idea what he's going to say tomorrow. Like Boris Johnson will come out on the Monday and say, that's like the worst. I don't even think... I can't think of anyone that knows less.
But everyone, I know a lot, we both know a lot of very high profile people that are behind the scenes. We know Lords, in the House of Lords.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone knows what's going to happen in terms of the lockdown. But here's what I want to talk about, because this is the important thing, is regardless of whether this goes on for another 3 months or another 3 years, because it won't be finished in 2 or 3 months. This is going to be a long-term thing.
Yeah.
How does it affect property investors?
Well, the good thing is, I mean, outside of the very first lockdown, where I think you still did a lockdown challenge, even during the very first lockdown, still made money as a property entrepreneur, but it was very tough.
It was tough. You're talking, by the way, now in April when we couldn't even view houses.
Yeah. And you were doing it virtually and all that. Yeah. So that was very, very tough. But other than that, I can't remember how long that was for.
That was a week challenge. No, that was maybe a month
6 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Outside of that, the property market has pretty much stayed. I mean, I do feel sorry. I've got lots of friends in other industries, and I kind of think they're like, I'm really struggling. We're really not, because we make our money in property, and it's kind of stayed open. So I feel very lucky. I mean, we send our kids to a private school. A lot of the parents there run their own businesses. A lot of them are really, really struggling. Own lots of coffee shops, things like that.
Don't get me wrong though, we've struggled. I mean, cost of things have gone up a lot.
For development?
Yeah,
due to short supply, due to...
Also, things are restricted, but there's a lot of positive as well though. On the development side, there's been a lot of positive things as well, but there's also...
Could there even be an argument for development in particular? This whole crisis, I mean, they say that opportunities often occur in crises. Do you think that, if anything, for development, it's actually been aided? I mean, house prices have gone up.
Yeah. It depends on what you're doing.
Planning permission's been made easier.
Yeah, I think it just depends. Wherever there's challenges, it always brings opportunities, and it depends on which side of the coin you fall in. So some of our development deals, because of the cost of things are going up, it's hit us, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But then we've also had other areas where it's good. But let's talk, rather than too much about development, let's talk about property investment just in general, because as you said, the property market is open. When it was closed in April, 500,000 transactions were paused, which caused manic. I think the government have got skin in the game. I think that the government don't want property prices to crash. I think that I mean, as it happens, we've been in a boom all last year, which was crazy, depending on what area you were in. If you were in London, properties were going down. If you were in Birmingham or most parts of the country were going up. I do think when furlough and stamp duty holiday and those things end, I do think that we're going to see a dip in a lot of areas. Everywhere's got its own economy. But right now, today, how does it affect property investors? Because I don't think it affects them negatively much at all.
I think that they need to adapt. So, like, for example, if your strategy was holiday destinations, service accommodation, for example, and you've got somewhere in a holiday area, you might be struggling. I mean, of course, they're still open. Hotels are still open. It's not like you're stopped from doing it.
They're not really, though, are they? It's like emergency only and things like that, hotels.
You can travel for work.
Can you?
Yeah. So it's which is what most of what service accommodation is. I was speaking to someone the other day who's got service accommodation in Peterborough, and they were saying they are fully booked. It's like more than usual.
It doesn't surprise me, and I think that my personal opinion is most people that are affected on the property side just don't know what the rule is. Do you know the story of the elephant? A baby elephant, it has a little rope around its foot and it can't walk away more than 10 feet. But then when it grows up, it just thinks it can't, but it actually can.
It's the same rope.
A lot of people think, the same rope. It could snap it could just leave, but it just, in its mind, it's trapped. I think a lot of people in their mind, they think, I can't leave the house, I can't do anything, I can't. But actually, if you're in our industry, you can go and view houses. Last week I did a financial freedom challenge.
Do you think it's the same as anything though? It's about learning the rules. Most people don't know the rules.
Correct.
Like with property, with anything. Like when you actually look at the government website and read through, it's like, you hear the headlines, it's like, we can't do this, it's like, we can still do that. We can.
And on a personal level, don't get me wrong, it's annoying because you can't see family and you can't do this and you can't.
That's what they've really hit, isn't it? A lot of work stuff has kind of been allowed to continue, and what
in our industry, nearly every other industry. Imagine if you've got a restaurant business. Imagine if you're like, I'm not going to name people, but I've got some close friends that I've been trying to encourage them to come into my industry, come into property. I know I'm making so much money in this business. I'm like, yeah, but strategically invest your money from your business into property in this way. No, I'm good. Now, they're on the verge of bankruptcy.
Or events. There's no money in events.
No money in events.
No money in entertainment.
We've lost money significantly with our training company this year. And it doesn't matter because we've got our property business.
I think property is got to be one of the safest things to invest. People, whatever happens, people need a home.
Yeah.
People,
they need somewhere to live.
Yeah. It doesn't matter what.
So you think the key is to learn the rules, study the rules,
and adapt. Be prepared to adapt.
Yeah.
Adapt. Listen, that's probably the biggest takeaway from me from 2020.
Yeah.
Is you need the companies that survive, and I see it all the time. You see little examples of companies that are thinking outside the box. I saw a restaurant in a pub in Worcestershire. And it was when the pubs were banned unless they served food, but this pub didn't have a kitchen or anything. So they teamed up with a fish and chip shop next door.
Yeah.
And they were taking orders, bringing in the food. It's like, great, well done. You're thinking outside the box and you're adapting.
That's being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What are you allowed to do right now then as a property investor? So you're allowed to view houses.
You're allowed to do everything.
You're allowed to book viewings, see houses. You're allowed to meet up with solicitors and sign the contracts.
Anything to do with buying a house,
I rang an estate agent the other day and I said, hey, can I meet up and have a chat with you? I want to go through what I'm looking for. And they said, well, you can't come to the office. I said, okay, well, what could we do? They said, well, I guess we could meet at Costa down the road. Now, this was before the full national lockdown. This was a couple of weeks ago. But even today, though, it's about, don't focus on what you can't do. Just think, how can I? Well,
Zoom as well. I mean, how blessed have we been with Zoom? Can you imagine if this had happened 20 years ago before any of this technology was available and we had dial-up internet and stuff? It would have been a nightmare.
Yeah. So what are your final words then to people watching this? Because I think the biggest piece of advice I can give to people is don't wait. Now is not the time to say, let's wait and see what happens. It's like, no. In fact, you're forced to be at home right now. You can't do a lot of stuff, but you can do property. Mm-hmm. If you don't become financially free in 2021 through property, it's never gonna happen.
That's a great opportunity. You see a lot of a lot of sayings. If you don't manage to achieve your goals, lose weight, whatever it is, during a lockdown, you never lack time. You lack discipline.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's the same with property. If you're interested in getting into property, if you want to learn about property and you're stuck at home right now, this is your chance to learn about property. This is your chance to go and view houses. This is it gets you out of the house, doesn't it? I mean, we got to the point because we had to do some rubbish tips after Christmas. So loads of cardboard boxes and stuff. We had to do trips to the tip, and I said, and Anna was like, should we go together as something to do? Do you know what I mean? It's like because you can't go out. Actually going to the tip was a form of enjoyment.
And it's funny because so many people aren't doing property right now because they think they can't. And the only people that seem to be winning at the moment are me and our success students on Winners on a Wednesday. Everybody else seems to be giving up.
Yeah.
Don't they?
So get out there, do it.
Yeah.
Realise you can do it. Learn the rules.
Yeah.
And now more than ever is the time to take some ownership because jobs. I know you got furlough and stuff, but how many people have been made redundant? Now more than ever is the time to not rely on a job.
Now is the time. So come down to the crash course, get trained, book viewings, get out there, make it happen. If you don't become financially free in 2021, it's probably never gonna happen. Hope you enjoyed this video. Russell, my brother, the CEO of the company. Smash a like if you like Russell coming on the channel. Also, subscribe to the channel. Watch some more videos, and I hope to see you at the crash course. I'll leave a link in the description. Thanks so much. See you next time.